Henry Field, anthropologist. Henry Field, December 15, 1902, January 4, 1986, was an American anthropologist and archaeologist. Early life. Henry Field was born in Chicago, a great-nephew of the merchant Marshall Field and a great-nephew of Barbara Lathrop. His parents' marriage did not last long, and his mother, Minna Field, married secondly Algernon Burnaby of Baggrave Hall, Hungarton, Leicestershire, England, where Field grew up. He was educated at Sunningdale Eton and Oxford BA 1925, MA 1930, D.C. 1937. Early career. After being awarded his first degree, Field moved back to Chicago in 1926 to begin working for the Field Museum of Natural History in Chicago as assistant curator of physical anthropology. Field's first participation in an expedition was in the University of Oxford/Field Museum excavation of Kish. His work included 5,000 photographs of the excavations and portraits of the modern villagers. Beginning in the late 1920s, the Field Museum began planning for the upcoming Chicago World's Fair. Field supervised the creation of 2 permanent exhibitions. The Hall of Prehistoric Man had 9 full-size dioramas of early life augmented by artifacts collected by Field. The Hall of the Races of Mankind had over 100 full-sized sculptures of different races by the renowned sculptor Melvina Hoffman. The exhibitions were ready on time for the opening of the fair, the Century of Progress, on 30 May 1933. In 1934, Field was promoted to head curator of physical anthropology. One important acquisition Field made for the museum was Magdalenian Girl, which is still on display today and remains the most complete Upper Paleolithic skeleton available for study in North America. Field went back to Iraq in 1934 and made anthropometric surveys of marsh Arabs, Shamir Bedouins, and Kurds. World War II. In 1941, just before America's entry into the Second World War, Field was asked to be the anthropologist to the president by President Roosevelt and to be a member of the Special Intelligence Unit of the White House to direct a top-secret for migration project. The president believed that refugee migration and resettlement in areas where they would be given asylum and be able to thrive would be one of the biggest issues of the post-war era. He wanted Field to look at underpopulated areas in North Africa and the Middle East as possible sites for their resettlement. Over 600 studies were produced. Complete sets are held in several libraries, including the Franklin D. Roosevelt Library at Hyde Park, NY, and the University of Miami. Later career. Field was a research fellow at the Peabody Museum of Archaeology and Ethnology at Harvard University from 1950 to 1969. He was a member of the University of California African Expedition 1947-48 and the Peabody Museum Harvard Expedition to the Near East and Pakistan. He moved to Coconut Grove, Florida, in the early 1950s and taught at the University of Miami beginning in 1966. Doubleday published his autobiography, The Track of Man, in 1952. In Coconut Grove, he ran Field Research Projects, a publisher of scientific and educational materials. His third wife, Julia Allen Field, was a lion trainer, zoo director, and environmental planner in Colombia. Field's 2 daughters are Mariana Field Hoppin of New York and Juliana Field of Framingham, Massachusetts. He died in Coral Gables, Florida, in 1986. The Special Collections Department of the University of Miami Library holds 35 boxes of the papers of Henry Field relating to the project and several archaeology expeditions. In 2005, the Peabody Museum of Archaeology and Ethnology at Harvard University put on an exhibition titled Field Photography, 1934, The Marsh Arabs of Iraq. This consisted of photographs taken during the Field Museum's Near East expedition led by Henry Field in 1934. The world's attention was focused on the Marsh Arabs when Saddam Hussein began a genocide against these people in 1991, but after the end of the Iraq War they have begun coming back. Legacy. Henry Field is commemorated in the scientific name of a Middle Eastern viper, Pseudocerastes fieldi. Publications partial. 1927–1930. Captain Marshall Field Expedition to Western Europe. Chicago Field Museum of Natural History 1, 1929. With O.C. Farrington. Neanderthal Mousterian Man. Chicago Field Museum of Natural History, 1933. The Races of Mankind. An Introduction to Chauncey Keep Memorial Hall. Chicago Field Museum of Natural History, 1935. Arabs of Central Iraq, Their History, Ethnology, and Physical Characteristics. Chicago Field Museum of Natural History, 1939. Contributions to the Anthropology of Iran. Chicago Field Museum Press. 2 vols. Available as an e-book on the Internet Archive, 1948. Contributions to the Anthropology of the Soviet Union. Washington, D.C. Smithsonian Institution, 1949. The Anthropology of Iraq. Chicago Field Museum of Natural History, 1952. The Track of Man. New York, Doubleday. Reissued as a mass-market paperback, revised and abridged by the author in 1967 by Dell, New York. 1952. Contributions to the Anthropology of the Fayum, Sinai, Sudan, and Kenya. Berkeley, University of California Press. 1956. Ancient and Modern Man in Southwestern Asia. Coral Gables, University of Miami Press. 1959. An Anthropological Reconnaissance in West Pakistan, 1955. Cambridge, Ma. Peabody Museum. Literature. Redmond, Samuel J. Bone Rooms, From Scientific Racism to Human Prehistory in Museums, Cambridge, Harvard University Press. 2016. Bibliography ==